Hey there, YouTubes. It's Stephen Daniel with Work Out Your Faith. If any of you have ever had an experience where you felt you had a close encounter with God, I'd like to hear about it in the comments. I had an encounter like this maybe a month or two ago. And, maybe you had this encounter from a dream or from a movie or from something someone said or from a worship song, whatever it was. In my case, it was really thinking about the words of this worship song called I Can Only Imagine. And I was with my wife watching the film about that movie, the film about that song. And thinking about these words, will I stand in your presence, or to my knees will I fall? Will I sing hallelujah? Will I be able to speak at all? Thinking about that and imagining myself in the presence of God, it brought me to tears, but what also brought to my mind is all of the theology, all the things we fight about, all the things that we think are so important in this world, they just kind of melt away. Like I was think excuse me. I was thinking about the things we argue about related to theology. With Christian people, maybe it's arguing about, well, is there going to be a rapture? Is there not? Who's going to heaven? Who's going to hell? Um, uh, you know, Calvinism, whatever, 5-point Calvinism or whatever, predestination, free will, all these things which are good to think about and good to discuss. But all those things melt away when you're in God's presence. Like for Messianics, maybe it's, well, is Yeshua divine? Is he God in flesh? Or is he the Son of God? Or what does that mean? Or is he a prophet or a good teacher? People debate about this stuff. And when you're standing before God or on your face before God, whatever it may be, God doesn't care about any of that stuff. What I realized in my most recent encounter or close encounter with God was he doesn't care about that. He doesn't care about how much money you gave to charity. He doesn't care about what you believe about these different theological arguments. He just wants to be in a relationship with you. He just wants to know you and for you to know him. And maybe you say, okay, well, that's what these theological arguments are for, is so that we can know and understand God better. There's some truth to that. Because in this world, we do want to know God as best as we can. But once you leave this world, once you're there right before God himself, you don't have to use the Bible to understand God. You don't have to use prayer to understand God. God's right there in front of you. And I think that was just what I was feeling at that time, is none of that stuff is going to matter in the end. Yes, I want us to work out our faith while we're here in this world. And to do that, to be passionate about what we believe, and do that through studying the Bible, through prayer, through discussion with other people, and through asking questions, especially through asking questions and seeking answers. Yes, that's a good thing to do, and I want to do that in this world. And when I leave this world and go to the world to come, and I'm in front of the holy God, the King of the universe, and the anointed King, is any of that going to matter? And my thought is, it's not going to matter even a tiny bit. It's going to be so far from my mind. It's going to be something of the distant past. Like if you ask me today, right now, what did I eat for lunch 5 years ago on September 3rd? It's so far from my mind, I couldn't care less. I tend to think that when we are right in front of God and we get to see his face, that's how far to the back of our mind all these things are going to be. We're not going to care. God's not going to care about our theology that we had or our personal beliefs or practices. Did I eat chicken with cheese, or did I, eat fish with dairy? Did I say the Amidah 3 times a day? That's not going to matter. It matters here and now, but at that time, it's not going to matter at all. So that was the thought that I wanted to share with you. And if any of you have had any experiences like that, where you felt almost as if you were standing or on your face in front of God, I'd like to hear about it. Leave a comment below. Shalom.